Hello, everyone. I'm Kaylee, and I would like to welcome you to my History of Film presentation. The film that I was required to watch for my film presentation was the film Notorious. The film was released to the public in 1946 and is considered a film noir, which means that it is a stylish Hollywood crime drama. Notorious was directed and produced by Alfred Hitchcock, written by Ben Hetchett. Its cinematographer was Ted Tatzloff, and it stars Cary Grant as FBI agent T.R. Devlin, Ingrid Bergman as Alicia Huberman, Claude Rains as Alexander Sebastian, Leopold Constantine as Madame Anna Sebastian, and Lewis Calhern as Captain Paul Prescott. You can see all of these different people on the screen. The film follows U.S. government agent T.R. Devlin, who gets the help of Alicia Huberman, the daughter of a German war criminal, to report to him about a group of German executives of IG Farben who have been hiding out in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, following World War II. Of course, the mission becomes complicated due to the fact that Devlin and Alicia fall in love, but in order for the mission to continue, Alicia must seduce Alex Sebastian to gain the intel that Devlin needs. Of course, a love triangle ensues, and as with all Hitchcock films, the viewer needs to be prepared for the unexpected. Hitchcock's cinematographer, Ted Tatzloff, was talented with a camera, and Notorious is not missing any moment of true camera innovation. The emotions and feelings of characters are brought to life with the use of the camera. The high-angle crane shot is successfully executed in this film, which we saw earlier in class, and as with many black and white films, the use of shadows is impeccable. I'm going to highlight two clips that highlight some of this cinematic work. The first clip is at the beginning of the film where Alicia is nursing a hangover and the camera is used from her point of view as she looks at Devlin. Take a look.
Finalized. Go on, drink it.
As you can see in this shot, of course, Alicia is laying down on the bed, but as Cary Grant, as T.R. Devlin walks in the door of the room that she's laying in, the camera does a complete 180-degree flip to make the viewer feel like they are hungover. So in this shot, you can see a mixture of both Dutch angle and close-up shots that makes, as I said before, that makes you feel like you're the one that is hungover and seeing Grant upside down. Now, never been hungover, but I have heard that this is what it feels like. The second clip is one that comes pretty close to the end of the film. And this clip also deals with a moment in time of how Alicia is feeling. But at this time, she isn't drunk, but rather she is feeling the effects of being poisoned. In this clip, the viewer is feeling as though they are Alicia and feeling the side effects of being poisoned. Take a look. Now, as you can see in this clip, Alex and his mother fade into the shadows, and the special effects are done in a way that makes you feel like the room is getting twisted and almost feeling like you're seeing a tree that's swaying in the wind or something to show the effects of being poisoned. In this case, they kind of talk about feeling seasick. In the section right before where I showed you, they're talking about seasickness, and then that fades into this part of the clip that you just watched. But this, of course, is just editing. But as you can see, that swaying in the shadows and everything is so just, it's innovative and used very well for this scene. Now, these are just a few of the clips that could be highlighted, but Hitchcock loved to use mirrors and glass to create reflections that are caught on camera, close-up shots, long pan shots, and long shots to create his setting in the film. You would just have to watch the film to see for yourself what I'm talking about. There are so many strengths that this film possesses that it is hard to mention them all. I want to focus on the storyline and characterization in this section of the video, which is, of course, a major strength of the film. To begin, Bergman's portrayal of Alicia is absolutely spot on. At the beginning of the film, we realize that Alicia, as I said before, is the daughter of a Nazi spy who at the beginning of the film is convicted of being an American traitor. As she deals with her father's conviction and the press that she is getting, she recklessly escapes the pain by engaging in affairs and alcohol, giving her a notorious reputation. When she meets Devlin, she is drunk and a strong chemistry forms between the two of them. When she finds out what Devlin wants, to get close to Alex Sebastian, who is a Nazi and a man that she once had connections with in her past, she is enraged. But Devlin manipulates her into helping him, and so she's put through the mission where she finds herself completely isolated. Also, during this, she and Devlin fall in love, but he continues to belittle her, never believing that she has changed from her notorious reputation into a woman that doesn't have a notorious reputation. She is in all reality a pawn in a game being played between two men, Devlin and Sebastian. Another character worth examining is Grant's T.R. Devlin. At the beginning of the film, viewers are introduced to Devlin at Alicia's home as she throws a party, and as I said before, is drunk. In the shot that you see Devlin, Hitchcock kind of plays at Cary Grant's star power. You don't ever see his face until right when Hitchcock wants you to in a scene with the car, right before the scene with the car. Every single shot that you meet T.R. Devlin's character at the beginning of the film is from behind. You never see his face. All you see is Alicia drunk and flirting with the man. As explained before, a strong chemistry begins to form between Alicia and Devlin, and he manipulates her into working for the U.S. government, even going as far to play a recording that uses her own words against her. Devlin is portrayed as a bitter and cold man who, as I have said before, will not believe that Alicia has changed from being a woman with a notorious reputation. Throughout the film, Devlin belittles her and does not show her his love for her, all because of the job. This disbelief leads him to almost leave her to assume her fate, but he shows up right in the nick of time. The third character that I want to examine is played by Claude Rains' Alexander Sebastian. In the film, he is a true Nazi, a man willing to get rid of anyone and anything for the good of the now collapsed Nazi regime. But in stark contrast to Devlin, he is portrayed as a warm and loving man, especially toward Alicia, mostly due to the fact that he had been in love with her only years before. Throughout the film, he is seen giving her the benefit of the doubt when she is caught with Devlin, but once he finds out what Alicia has done, seduced him to get information, he is furious and willing to take her out. This makes the viewer respect Sebastian because of the way he treats Alicia, regardless of her reputation. Another strength in this film is related to the setting. In 1946, the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union had just begun. Rather than focusing on the Cold War and turning the film into a sort of a propaganda film, let's face it, that's what a lot of films were back then, that focused on the Cold War boosting American morale against the Soviet Union, Hitchcock and Hachette decided to take a backward step and focus on Nazi Germany, which was still fresh on the minds of many Americans. This allowed for an entertaining film that still addressed the issues of the times. I was not expecting very many weaknesses in the film, and I was correct in my assumption. This film is a classic, and because of that, there are, of course, very few weaknesses. At the beginning of the film, Hitchcock creates the setting and does so very exactly. It is sort of unneeded. He could have just said the month and the year and called it good, but instead, at the beginning of the film, he gives us the month, the day, the year, and even goes down to the exact time. It was just odd, but he apparently does the same thing at the beginning of his 1960 film, Psycho. Another weakness that I would call is the way that Alicia and Devlin fall in love. It's very quick. My opinion, it was just very quick and wasn't your traditional government agent and informant kind of a love relationship where it develops over the course of the film. It was very immediate, which is central to the film. I mean, their love story is pivotal, but it just seemed to form way too fast and not have, of course, a very strong bond. But of course, as everything works out, they end up falling in love and it's great. But that was just one thing that kind of threw me off guard, was the fact that their love story began and was very quick. The legacy of the film is one that spans the ages, and many consider it one of Hitchcock's best films. The film was so well done that it was nominated for 2 Academy Awards at the 1947 Oscars. Claude Rains was nominated for the Best Supporting Actor, which is an amazing nomination. I cannot imagine anyone else in the role of Alexander Sebastian. And it's interesting, he was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor for the 1942 film Casablanca. So it was just interesting when I was researching to see those parallels that are happening. And it was also nominated for Best Screenplay at the 1947 Oscars. Didn't win, but at least it got a nomination. One of the things that the film is most known for is its skirting around of the topic of Alicia's reputation, her seduction of Sebastian, and the on-screen kissing that ensues. During this time in film history, it was wrong and against the codes of the Motion Picture Association to show a couple in bed, to directly talk about sex, and to have a couple kiss on screen for more than 3 seconds. Because this film revolves around the fact that Alicia has a notorious reputation, Hitchcock provided an ample number of sexual innuendos to help get the message across as to what Alicia was doing. Alicia and Devlin both call the men that she has seduced her playmates, and she also will use that to get at Devlin. The dialogue between Alicia and Devlin is also interesting to see, mostly due to the fact that Devlin is cold towards Alicia, and Alicia is more than willing to use your reputation to get at him and his heart. Some memorable quotes from the film that illustrate this are, "Dry your eyes, baby. It's out of character. You can add Sebastian to my list of playmates. And a man doesn't tell a woman what to do. She tells herself." Regarding the on-screen kissing, many people have stated that the kissing scene that happens in this film is the longest on-screen kiss that occurs in film. Spoiler, it's not. The scene where Alicia and Devlin are kissing is about, give or take, 3 minutes long, but in order for the film to pass through the rating process, Hitchcock made the scene so Devlin and Alicia were holding on to one another and breaking the kisses with dialogue and provocative looks, which adds to the chemistry that the 2 characters have. Another part of the film that is worth mentioning is the ending. Once Sebastian learns that Alicia is in fact an American spy, he goes to his dominating mother to help him figure out what to do about his American agent. The 2 of them decide to slowly poison Alicia and make it appear as though she died naturally. This is of course a problem because she is routinely meeting with Devlin while she is being poisoned, but he believes that she is just continually hung over and continually using alcohol to deal with the extreme circumstances that she is under. Once she is weak enough, they take her to her room and remove the telephone from the bedroom. Of course, once Devlin has realized that something is wrong since Alicia has not been meeting with him, he decides to go and find her, making a friendly house call. When he finds her, she's nearly dead. This is the moment that Devlin admits that he truly loves Alicia, and resolves to help her get out of the house. And when he tells her that he loves her, this helps her get the strength to get out of the house. The sequence that follows is one of manipulation and fear, brought to life by Devlin, Sebastian, and Sebastian's mother. This moment moves slow for all four characters and the viewer to create the suspense that Hitchcock desires. When you watch this scene, when Devlin goes and finds Alicia, he runs up the stairs, and then if you count the stairs, he goes up a certain amount. And then when he's bringing Alicia down the stairs with Sebastian and Sebastian's mother, you realize that he's taking more steps. This was intentional to make the suspense that Hitchcock wanted. But also in the shot, you see Devlin whispering to Sebastian and, of course, manipulating him. But in these shots, the camera switches from you viewing Devlin, Sebastian, Alicia, and Sebastian's mother to Sebastian's henchmen, colleagues, whatever you'd want to call them. The camera switches to create suspense. You would just have to watch it. But because of how this movie ends, many would consider the ending abrupt because of the fact that Sebastian's associates have figured out who Alicia is without Sebastian ever telling him. And Devlin puts Alicia and himself into the car. And there's this scene where he gets into the car and then he reaches over Alicia and locks the door. And Sebastian says, "No, take me with you, take me with you." And there's no room. So we see in this scene Alicia and Devlin driving off to what many would call their redemption. But Sebastian must walk back up the stairs into the house, knowing that he will not make it back out alive. Because right at the end, you hear Sebastian's associates say, "There's no telephone in the bedroom." And so that's where the movie ends. You don't see anything else. There's no writing on the screen about what happened. There's no epilogue. It just ends, which makes a lot of people mad, but I can't imagine a different ending for this film. Another aspect of the film that it is speculated that it is one of Hitchcock's more feminist films. People believe that the characterization of Alicia is a feminist approach and a pro-woman take, but I would have to disagree. I think that Alicia's character is an unsuspecting heroine, much like Bergman's character in Ilsa in Casablanca. But according to Roger Ebert, Hitchcock has a habit of having his beautiful leading actress's character manipulated by the leading man to do his bidding. This is fully on display in Notorious, and with that in mind, I would conclude that this film is indeed not feminist in nature. In conclusion, Notorious is a film that is very well done and is one that I would recommend everyone watch. From its amazing cinematography, wonderful characters, and great acting, it is just one of the most iconic films of its time. Here are my sources. And thank you all for watching.